إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل فقد فاز المتقون وأذكركم ونفسي بقول الله تبارك وتعالى قل لن يصيبنا إلا ما كتب الله لنا هو مولانا وعلى الله فليتوكل المتوكلون وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We start our khutbah by praising Him and saying this dua. Allahumma akhrijna min hawlina ila hawlik. Wa min azmina ila azmik. Wa min da'fina ila quwwatik. Wa min inkisarina ila izzatik. Wa min diqi ikhtiyarina ila sa'ati iradatik. Ya wadud ya wadud. يا ذا العرش المجيد يا ذا البطش الشديد يا فعال لما يريد يا من ملأ نوره أركان عرشه أغثنا يا مغيث أغثنا يا مغيث أغثنا يا مغيث. And the topic titled today is the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. When he walked into the masjid and he found one of his Sahaba, one of his students, and he said to him by calling his name, Ya Aba Lubaba, Mali araka fil masjid fi ghayri waqti salah. Qala ya Rasulallah, duyunun lazimatni wa humumun rakibatni. قال أولا أدلك أعلمك كلمات إذا قلتها قضى الله عنك دينك وأذهب عنك همك. قال بلى يا رسول الله. قال قل اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن والعجز والكسل والجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam seeing one of the Sahaba in the masjid. It was not expected for him to be there. It is time to go to work. We go to the masjid to pray, and then we go to our farms, to our business, to our schools, to spread around the earth and do what Allah told us to do. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه. Allah paved the earth for you, ready for you to walk on. Walk on it and go different direction. Walk into any walk of life and look for your rizq. Look for your provision. Salat time, come to the masjid and do your salat. But how come you are here? It means he was asking him, "Oh Abu Lubaba, are you okay?" This topic, I was inspired by it. Last week we had a visitor from Sydney, Sheikh Mahmoud, and this was his topic. It touched me because sometimes we don't tell our brothers and our sisters the truth about us. We say to them, "I'm okay," when we are not. We say to them, "I am fine," when we are not. And then we suffer in silence, and sometimes by the time they find out, it is too late. So the Prophet ﷺ, through these words, he wanted to find out if his student, his Sahaba, is okay. But Abu Lubaba said, "I'm not okay." He was honest. "I am here because the burden of debt bothering me. I'm stressed. I'm in sadness because of that." So the Prophet ﷺ said to him, "I will teach you some words. You say them from your heart. And if you do, Allah will pay your debts for you by using you at the same time. And Allah will remove the stress you are going through." And what are the words? Say them and live up to their meaning and believe in their power and be inspired by them. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-ham wal-hazan. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you against anxiety, stress, distress, and sadness. Wal-ajzi wal-kasal. I seek refuge in you against ajiz. Ajiz, al-ajzu huwa ragbatul qalb wa adamu qudratil badan. When we see somebody is ajiz, it means we have power in our mind. I want to do it, but my physical power will not allow me to do it. I want to do it, but I cannot do it. That is ajiz, to become disabled to do what you want to do for some reason. And kasal, qudratul badan wa adamu ragbatil qalb. Physically I can do it, but my mind doesn't want to do it. These are lazy people. They live undone what they could do. Kasal, and that will change their destiny because you are lazy, because you are disabled. Wal jubni wal bukhl, and also, oh Allah, I seek refuge in you against jubn, cowardice, fear, being scared of anything. And sometimes we imagine an enemy and become afraid of them and suffer them, and they don't even exist. Fear has no room except in our head. And we have to clear our head from this type of fear. Al-jubn. And we think anything we confront, we will be defeated. This is jubn. Wal-bukhl, becoming a miser, greedy and mean and selfish. We don't want anything good to go to anybody else. We just want it to come to us. We live in vanity. Everything has to be me and mine. This is bukhl. And we don't want to give anything away to benefit somebody else. And this can change our destiny. Wa ghalabati dayn, I don't want to be defeated with my debt to the extent that I cannot fight back anymore. I cannot pay them off. Wa qahr al-rijal, I don't want men to knock me down and put my face down because they ask me, where is my money? And sometimes we come to the masjid and we cannot pray because I owe that person, and they're looking at me. We lose our khushu. So this causes pain and suffering. So the point is that the Prophet ﷺ was asking his Sahaba, are you okay? How? Because he was looking at him. And we know every one of us, on our face, there is a story that people can see. But if we don't look, we don't see the story anymore. All I'm trying to say is always to be very truthful. Sometimes we pretend to be strong. Just like the Arabs said long time ago, Al-Aqwiya, هم الذين يبتسمون رغم الآلام الخفية ويبكون من خلف الأبواب المسدودة ويخوضون معارك لا يعلم بها أحد. The strong people are those who smile through silent pain, cry behind closed doors, and fight battles that no one knows about. We have to realize problems are like sickness and disease. Some sickness, we can say, I can deal with this. I can deal with it. But some of them, we have to see the doctor. Otherwise, they will kill us. Also, some problems like that. So we should not say, I'm okay when we are not. How are you, brother? Alhamdulillah, I'm tired. Say it. How are you, brother? Alhamdulillah, I am overwhelmed. How are you, brother? I am fine. I need help. We have to say these words because people are there to help us, but they don't know if we don't let them know. Why I'm saying this? Because sometimes we go to that extreme. I think it is around 7 years now. One of us hanged himself in his lounge room. One Muslim brother in this town, around 7 years ago. He wasn't okay, but we didn't know. How come? Maybe we didn't ask, or maybe he didn't say it. And he kept it, and then it exploded. We don't need to wait for this. Are you okay? We have to say it, ask ourselves. And sometimes we are suffering a trauma that happens in the past. Maybe from someone who we know or someone who we don't know. And we try to just put a Band-Aid on it instead of healing it. And there is a proverb saying, if you don't heal what cut you, you will bleed over those who didn't hurt you. People will suffer, they didn't do anything to you, but the reaction coming from you is bothering all. If you don't heal what cuts you, you will bleed over those who didn't hurt you. So we have to speak out because sometimes suffering in silence, it will create innocent victims. And this is a proof. Why this brother has to kill himself? He was in trouble. He wasn't okay. Maybe he didn't share with anybody. And then he became a victim for these things. No wonder why the Prophet ﷺ, from time to time, he will ask the people when he look at them. Sometimes he asks them as a group, Amu'minuna antum, what is the situation with your iman? To find out how they're going, because it is very hard to hold on to what is right. And it is very difficult in life to let go. Letting go is one of the hard things in our life. To let go may be disappointment, maybe loss, maybe guilt. We can't let the guilt go. We have to let go. And that's why Amr ibn al-As, when he decided to become a Muslim, and he traveled all the way from Mecca to Medina, 450 kilometers. He wants to become a Muslim, but he's still looking at the back. His history, it was very dark. And when he went to the Prophet and he extended his hand to become a Muslim, and the Prophet ﷺ extended his hand as well. And Amr pulled his hand back. The Prophet ﷺ said to him, Ma khatbuka ya Amr, what's wrong, Amr? He said, my past is screaming at me. I don't think becoming a Muslim now will benefit me. I think it is too late. My past is very dark. So the Prophet ﷺ smiled and said to him, Awama alimta ya Amr anna al-Islam yajubu ma qablahu. Don't you know that Islam will completely erase whatever you did before Islam? That is the beauty of Islam. The beauty of coming back home and turning your face back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and decide permanently, I will stay on the Sirat al-Mustaqim until I meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Amr had the guts to go ahead and become a Muslim. So sometimes we have to say, my dear past, thank you for the lessons. And then turn away and say, my dear future, I'm ready. And move on. And to move on, something very difficult. But once you move on, then you will realize you made the best decision ever in your life. So we have to be powerful enough to let go. We have to fight to hold on something, and we have to fight to let go. Chance never been easy, but very important to be truthful. To let someone who you trust know that you need help. If you are not okay, you say it, I'm not okay. It is our responsibility so that we will move to the weak decisions. And what is the weak decisions? In the moment of despair and hopelessness, we make the weak decisions. We make a permanent, harmful decision based on a temporary situation and see what happens. Why I have to kill myself or kill somebody else? They were not okay, but nobody knew about it. So we have to stop pretending to be strong so the brothers and the sisters can help us. One of the worst things in being strong sometimes is that no one will ask you if you are okay because you look cool and they don't know that you are boiling inside. You are suffering in silence and they just take life easy. And by the time they find out, it is too late. It's very important to ask one another, am I okay? If I'm not okay, why? And then define the problem. And then delete it if we can. And when we delete it, it will disappear from the screen of our life, but it still lives somewhere in our subconscious mind. Follow it to the recycling and delete it again to make sure it's not there anymore. We have to do that, otherwise we cannot make a move. We have to close some files in our mind, in our life. And don't go back to the past and suffer what you already suffered in the past. We look forward, as we said last time, the life in front of you is far more important than the life behind you. And wise people always, we focus on what is coming and what we are facing. And let what is gone be gone. So again, we ask ourselves, are you okay? Truly, this brother, when he came, and I made a comment about his topic, and then I learned from him, because our thinking is about asking other people, are you okay? But actually, it is me asking myself, are you okay? And if we are not okay, we have to say it. You have friends who care for you. You have a father. You have a mother. And if you want to remember your mother, just look down to your belly button. The only wound can never be healed on your body is that one. To remind you is what? There is the billions of women on this earth, only one of them you can call my mother. And that will remind you with her. When your umbilical cord was cut, it is the biggest wound because you are separated from your mom, but you can reconnect again. We have to be truthful, and why I'm saying this as an imam, because my head is the file for your secrets. And when I talk in general, I'm saying this because from time to time, even like last week, 2 of us, I asked one of them, how your son is going? And he said, it's okay, but alhamdulillah. at least he is home. But the relation with Allah is very scary. And 3 days later, one of the parents came to me in this masjid and say, I want to know how to deal with my son. He left Islam. Not only that, he's saying bad about Islam in front of my wife and his sisters. I used to be quiet, but now I'm using violence against him. I said to him, how old is your son? He said, 18. I said, don't, he is a man. He's confused. He's screaming for help. Sometimes people deserve your silence, so don't waste your words. He needs to learn from within. He's struggling. He's a good boy. He just needs help. And we have to learn how to go beyond their fault and serve their needs. He will come back. Because he has a history that he can never forget. And when he wakes up, it will be fine. And that's why I see you look cool, but you are boiling inside. And many of us will have the same problem. Our children became like vacuum sucking the happiness out of us. But remember, just pray for them because you did your job. I know it is disappointing. You didn't know the kid you fought for is fighting you now. The kid you raised up for so many years became strong enough, biting you now and punching you now. Don't worry. Remember what Imam Shafi'i said? Ayatun fil Quran, hiya sahmun fi qalbi dhalim wa balsam ala qalb al-madhlum. Ma hiya ya Imam? Qawluhu ta'ala, wa ma kana rabbuka nasiya. He said there is one ayah in the Quran, it is like an arrow aimed the heart of the oppressor. And this ayah is like a healing for the heart of the victim. What is that ayah? When Allah said, you Lord never been forgetful. He knows who did what to you. Sometimes we do wrong to people and we forget about it. But Allah said in the Quran, Ahsahu Allahu wa nasuh. Allah already recorded it, and we did it, and we forget about it, and doing more. We have to learn to say, I'm not all right, I need help. I'm overwhelmed. And when people talk like that, we have to listen carefully. When they say, look, I'm sick and tired of life, take it very seriously. Because people who I lived for and fought for, and they're against me. But remember, the problems, the struggle you are going through today is developing your strength that you need tomorrow. I will say that again. The problems and the struggle you are going through today is developing the strength you need tomorrow. You will become a tested servant. And remember always, إِذَا أَحَبَّ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا إِبْتَلَاهُ فِي جَسَدِهِ أَوْ فِي وَلَدِهِ أَوْ فِي مَالِهِ. If Allah loves a servant, He will put you through trials. It could be physical trial, it could be financial, it could be pain from your own children. But remember, it is a test to make you stronger. And you have one of the three choices when they happen. Let the problem define you, or let it destroy you, or let it strengthen you and make you stronger. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do people think Allah will let them say, I'm a believer without a test? Iman is very expensive. You cannot get it. It is not cheap. It has value. And something with value is something you cannot live without. But sometimes we go for things with price, like gold has price, but it has no value. What is the proof? We are able to live without gold. Water has value. What is the proof? We cannot live without it. As I said before, we have to do what is necessary before we do what is nice. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم وجعلنا وإياكم من الذين يستمعون القول فاتبعون أحسنه. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Dear Muslim, to summarize, Allah gave us in this town around 15,000 brothers and sisters. All of them are ours, unless we don't share with them the problems. What is your problem? Financial? You need 15,000 to avoid suicide? Tell us. We are 15,000 here. We can collect it for you. But don't end your life and don't have nervous breakdown. You must dare to say, I'm not all right, I need help. Otherwise, what is the benefit of the so-called religious brotherhood? If you don't look at our brothers and sisters' faces to see what's wrong with them, every face has a story to tell. We have to find that story, but we have to speak out and never, never say, I am okay if you are not. Trying to be strong, it can destroy us sometime. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وأقم الصلاة. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. اللهم